started. If I can have everybody stand, we'll pledge the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I forgot to say, the special meeting of the Board of Trustees for the Village of Dansville is now convened at 6:35. And the first object on the item on the agenda is the insurance for our two retired CSCA dispatchers, Maggie and Peggy. It's Peggy Smith and Maggie Nice, right?
Yeah.
So I get the right name with the right one. They're both Margarets, I think. But anyway, as we mentioned last time around, the insurance that they had has been canceled. And pretty much we have to have something in place by the end of this week if we're going to get the deal they need to have, right?
Well, otherwise their insurance is going to lapse.
That's right. That's
Yes.
what I meant.
Yes.
Okay. And I think, did we not hand out all that stuff? All the goodies?
Yep, you guys have everything that I
Yeah.
have.
Okay. I did check the apparent, or the appropriate contract that they were, that they retired under, and you should have gotten a copy of it. If you haven't, I'll just go over it for the record here. Essentially, they get the same package for insurance, or we're getting anyway, up till now, the same package that the rest of the CSEA retirees were getting, and that is we would pay 90% of a single plan, which both of them are. But somewhere's in the mix, we don't know how this happened. They went for this other plan. I don't know how they got there. Megan, or I should say Karen, talked to Peggy the other day, and she couldn't remember anything. Anyway, what has ended up, we've basically given them a supplement to their Medicare that is 100% paid for by the village. So, we could go back, I suppose, if we wanted to, and put them on the current CSEA contract. I'm not sure how that works, even. If the CSEA would even want them there. Or just go along with the way it's been, however it got changed. They seem to be happy. Don't want anything changed. They want to go with this plan that Joyce has given them. Everything's going up, so it's not like we're... Actually, I guess we probably do save because we're not paying a full policy. So if that's what they want, my suggestion is that we go ahead and grant them the changeover with Joyce. And we can look around and see if we can find any more on this, but this is going to take a while to find the whatever it is.
On the other hand,
I have to believe they changed it willingly.
if we don't do anything, why their insurance is going to lapse. And
Yep.
I guess probably go along with it.
Just seems like the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And it seems to me that we're making out on this.
And as long as they're content and
This is what they went to Joyce on.
right, exactly. Yeah.
Again, I don't know how they got off the single plan. It seemed to me that would have been the better deal. And by contract, that's what they rate. But until we do a little bit more research, Nancy had told you, right? Nancy Nice had told you that her mother said it would have raised holy hell if she'd been gypped out of something. You probably know as well as anybody. So there had to be some agreement here.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just don't know how it happened. If it was board approved. We'd have to go back and search through some of a lot of minutes, I guess.
If the parties are satisfied, let's continue the way it's going.
I'll entertain a motion.
Before we get to the motion, just for the record, did you bring a copy of the information that you had emailed to us? What I'd like to do is at least read into the record what we're proposing to replace their current policy with. and what the premiums are.
I do not have their current
I've got,
Okay. then-
policies with me, but I can go grab them. It'll take
why don't
me
you
just-
do that?
It'll take me just a minute.
Yeah, I've got, did you want to use this at all, or this is the contract they retired under?
I'm all set with that.
Okay. Fortunately, Karen had a copy of that.
I think we ought to diligence. I'll get it out here. It's been a long day. To try to understand what they retired under versus where they're at today,
How it got there?
how it got there,
I don't disagree with
within
that.
reason.
Yeah.
Within reason. But the important thing is that we act on it tonight. I'm in all agreement with that.
I can talk with either one of the ladies myself. Maybe they'll tell me. I don't want, if that's what they rate, then that's what they should be allowed an opportunity to say yes or no to.
Right.
See, if we had electronic,
If it was codified, or not codified, but if we had all of our documents digitized.
digitized, that's the word. If they were
Yeah.
all digitized, we could probably, through a search engine, at least get close, within reason,
Yeah.
some small effort to the documentation we're looking for.
Well, that's what I'm gonna try to do. I'll see if they can tell me at what point this changed. I mean, were they on this program from the minute they retired? Or did they somehow along the way get offered a deal and took it? You know, if we can narrow it down to a
Right.
window, then I wouldn't have to spend so much time searching for it.
I mean, would Karen be of any help?
She doesn't recall a lot of it herself, other than roughly when they retired, because it's not been an issue till now. And so, you know, how many years has gone by now? We've well over 10 years.
But they've been retired?
Yeah,
Oh, 20. Yeah, they were early 90s.
yeah.
91 and 94 is the date on
On this
that
contract.
Right,
contract.
right, yeah.
Well, that would be early 90s.
Do we have a chronology of the contracts?
Well, that Karen apparently may have.
Yeah, I think.
And wouldn't that be the first approach?
Well, as I say, the contracts appear on that particular item to all be the same.
Yeah.
That starts off just as it was then, it is now, that a retiree, CSEA
Right.
retiree, is offered a single person plan when
Mhm.
they retire. Then it was 90%. It's been 90% up till now, and we went to 85% where we're working
But
at.
they've been paying,
But they've been paying 100% on something other than a single plan.
we've been paying 100%
Well, we've been paying,
on something other than a single plan.
yeah.
What's
It's
the
been
date?
like a supplemental plan of some kind,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
whichever one, you know, you're.
They probably just got to that age, don't you think? And they needed the.
Well,
supplement.
you can still have, I think you can still have a greater deal than just Medicare if you want it.
It wouldn't be uncommon either for the village to say, the village paying 100% of this plan is cheaper than the village paying 90% of this plan, so
Mhm.
would you take that? That's had been
Maybe it
a
was.
common theory as well for
Could be.
years.
Yeah, don't know.
If the plan reduces to XYZ, 100% of this is less costly than 90% of this.
Absolutely.
That's-
I think-
And back then, it may not have been so bad, like you say, as bad as it's gotten to be in the last
Right.
10,
Yeah.
15, 20 years now, since they retired.
It'd just be nice to have documentation.
I don't disagree.
I think, you know, that's certainly plausible. I mean, you know, that was the case, but again, you would hope that maybe there's documentation and, you know, we could be chasing our own tails on this one. Just never get there.
If I see Barry, I could ask him. I think he was on the board there at that time, wasn't he? You might remember.
Yeah, he started in 99.
I don't see Mike that much. I
Well,
see
he started
Barry
in
at least
99.
once a month.
Very
You could ask Barry at Lions. If he
There are certain
remembers.
There are certain things that don't mix.
Yeah, that's why when I go to Rotary, I get hit with all this
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Joyce said she was going to catch me at Rotary and talk about it today. She never showed up, thank goodness. She hit me in the theater once. She hit me someplace else up on some stuff. Oh, it was last week at Rotary, I think it was. And she was going to do it again today. I said, oh gosh, can I get away from it for at least an hour? I like your rules better. Okay. Pat said she was going to be here.
Issue with the plant,
Why don't you tell everybody what's going on?
flooded boiler. Oh, I don't know, did you, last
Tell them about the cans. Have you taken care of those yet?
two, the what?
The cans. Drums.
Oh, well, okay.
I think that's the latest.
Are those floating drums?
No, we have some chemicals, some polymer and some ferrous chloride that Rusty drained from the big tank that they removed. And, you know, why it wasn't part of the project for those guys to dispose of that. We're left with it, so I'm in the process. I just sent Safety Clean safety data sheets on them, and hopefully we get a price on them to get them out of here.
Yeah.
The, you know, it could be really expensive.
Oh, yeah.
$500
Oh, yeah.
a drum, maybe, who knows till I get the price back. I'll get a price back from them, and then I'll have to secure a second price, and hopefully we can get it removed. They were talking about putting it into the system over time. It would take like a year, and Randy's not really fond of it, Dougie's not fond of it. I mean, you gotta handle that stuff, and you know, there's a lot of issues to that.
Yeah.
And then you gotta
I'm not
have
too
ways
sure I want that in
in the new system.
new system or in the stream.
Yeah.
I don't care how well it's cleaned out.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues with that, so I think it's best if we just dispose of it. It can be put in as part of the project, so it's not an issue there. It's just one of those things that,
Wasn't planned for originally. Just to give you another heads up, and you aren't going to get anything on this till probably sometime between now and next week. We got a court order here to pay the people who own Park Hills. It looks like about $21,811 in back taxes that they paid, but they appealed it, the assessment and everything, and now we're stuck with it. I mean, it was against the town, but because we used the town's numbers. Bingo. We gotta pay, is it 1 or 2 years? It was a couple of years on those taxes, right?
Yeah, I went back to 2007.
Where's Park Hills?
Hmm?
You say Park?
Yeah, they own the apartment houses up on the end of William Street.
Oh, yeah.
And over here on Park Ave, just off of Park Ave. And they grieved, I guess, their assessment. I guess that's the appropriate name. Just took it to court. I knew this about a year or two ago that was going on, but we hadn't gotten anything, so I said, until I get something, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, I think we knew that they were that they had files for.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Anyway, you're gonna have to do some modifications here on the tape tomorrow. I got my reindeer doing his thing.
We'll fix
There were probably some comments I had that shouldn't be on there either.
I lost my pen again.
I just gave you one. Gosh, young lady. That one probably doesn't have much left in it. Yeah, try that, see what
Fine,
happens.
thank you. I copied the email from Brian Hart. And on this packet, it's the second one over.
Right.
Per his email, is the plan that they are on now. And then I copied the plan that Joyce has recommended that we switched to.
Which is different than your letter, which mentions MVP is recommending they move to gold policy.
That's the email from Brian Hart.
Yep.
Okay.
So I guess the question is, why would we approve Plan F versus the recommendation from MVP, the gold policy?
Are they comparable, Megan?
No.
Well, is the gold policy comparable to the preferred gold?
My understanding is that there's less benefits, higher copays. From our meeting with Brian Hart, it's not comparable or better,
The MVP is not comparable.
the one that they're recommending.
To replace the MVP?
Well, what they had previously, preferred gold, I mean, you've got co-pays. So it's not without, some expense.
And the EPIC in there is simply a state
Right.
assistance
Yeah.
program. I guess it's available for anybody on low income and that, kids as well as, in fact, I think originally that's how they were selling it. Low income families.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at Plan F, it's, $412, $413 per month versus what MVP is recommending, the gold policy, which is significantly less than that, about $132, $133, $232, $33 per month. I know that you sent out the gold portion, looked just like this. Well, it was a little bit different, but it did. It was in table form, I believe. Correct, Megan? You sent that out to us, or it was part of the email?
I can go back through everything that I
It was part of
sent
the-
you
it was
from
part of
the
the email.
brokers and
Which one comes closest to what they were getting? I think that's what we have to look at. Since we don't have the documentation as to how we got here to begin with. So we're sort of going backwards here a little bit, as far as trying to figure it out.
well, this chart
After the gold plan,
breaks out retail pharmacy, doctor visits,
Right, yeah.
hospital service, outpatient, emergency. I mean, this gives you, I believe, all of the information. You just follow it down and compare. Dick, the other information that came with this, I think, was Excellus packages. If that's what you're looking for, the Excellus packages.
No, the one that they reference here, MVP, yeah. Excels was part of that also,
Mhm.
but here it says MVP is recommending that they move to a gold policy. But there was an Excels portion to it, but not.
Let me go look for that. All right.
Well, in one case, you're looking at a Advantage program. I believe what they had previously. Versus this is a Medigap.
The gold one is? MVP?
No, the gold, I believe, is the Advantage one. And this is a Medigap. This is a supplement to Medicare. Either you have Advantage, which means that you have a private insurance company which receives the Part B premiums, and then they provide a certain level of care to you, or you have Medigap, which is a supplement to the original Medicare, and you retain the original Medicare. If you have Advantage, they will issue a separate ID card which shows that you're, say, a member of MVP versus your Medicare card.
Okay.
So it
Gap
appears,
is for you, the Advantage is,
it appears to me what they had previously was a Advantage plan. This is what they had previously, and this is a Medigap plan or a supplement to Medicare. So if you want to stay with the type of policy they had previously, then you'd be looking at Advantage programs, not Medigap or supplemental. I mean, the important thing here is that we do the right thing.
Yep.
That's the bottom line.
Right.
But there are significant differences in the two approaches and how you're insured for health care. Now,
one is basically a secondary and the other is really an out-and-out policy
right.
that's reimbursed by the government
Right.
to a certain extent.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
right.
Mhm.
Yep. If you have Advantage, they're going to collect your $104 and change per month, and then there's going to be some premium on top of that. And this is,
Mhm.
that's when they were paying $159.50 to be.
I'm glad you explained that because I didn't understand that either. You learned something new.
I'm a recent recipient of Medicare / I'm in an Advantage program, or will be after the first year.
Yeah.
So it's fresh up here. But what I'm saying is that it appears from here what they had previously was an Advantage program. Now we're looking at Medigap with what Joyce has recommended. So I don't know why, there's a switch here. I'm
Don't know why there was a switch.
not a healthcare, Medicare expert, but this is what I see.
You know,
Yeah, well, here's another one. Medicare Part C is Advantage. So
Yeah.
you got A, B, C, and D.
Mhm.
C is the Advantage program.
That's what they-
Medigap, supplement, original Medicare, Advantage program, Part C. Two different approaches.
Yep.
This is a departure from what they currently have.
I don't know what mine is. I think it's just plain Gap.
So I would be,
Both mine are government insurances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
my question would be, if Joyce had this information and she knew they were the Advantage program, why does she recommend a Medigap?
She should have talked to me today. She might have to talk to me tomorrow. See if Megan knows, because I don't think she does.
I found them.
The way Dick is explaining it is that it appears that they had the Advantage program as opposed to a GAP program. And that the gold would be the the Advantage equivalent.
Oops. Checking the right stuff. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what this says. Well, do we have more questions now?
I know I won't be able to comprehend it to the degree that matters.
Megan, do you know why they went to Joyce on this and not come to the village?
I'm not sure. Joyce approached me.
I know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't ask. They are individual packages, or, yeah, individual policies that we pay. Because I think you have to have 3 to be part of a group.
But we don't even know how they got to this stage. Thanks.
Yeah, that's the
I'm
thing.
not sure.
That's the thing I'm wondering about is how they got there to begin with.
Because by the contract, they should have been on the single plan, whatever we were offering.
Right.
Yeah, and, I mean, we received notification less than a month ago, so,
Yeah, like about, well, I got it about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, right.
Okay, I did a quick comparison. It appears as though the one that they're comparing that's available now is the gold value. And as I look down at the different coverages, benefits that appear, the one that kind of jumps out at me as being different is the increase in the maximum out of pocket. Whereas they had $4,500 previously, that's gone up to $6,000. That's, I don't want to say it's in line with, but I know that policies that I'm familiar with, that's one of the areas that's increasing. So what they're doing is they're holding down the premiums, but at the same time increasing the maximum out of pocket. So that's kind of in tune with at least what I've seen. So I wouldn't, that doesn't surprise me. But as I'm looking down at the other benefits and the payouts, to me, just taking a cursory look and going, line by line, they appear to be the same, very similar, in comparing what they currently have
Plan F.
with this one. I mean, it'd be better if you had them right in front of you, but that's, quick glance, that's what I saw. This one, in many respects, the gold value is almost a carbon copy of what they had previously, except what I just pointed out.
The gold value with Part D.
Yeah. And the reason I picked that, Megan, because they quoted a price of $136.50, and that's the price on here for the cost. So they just said gold policy, and I'm assuming that's the one based upon what the premium would be.
This is the gold value with Part D?
Right. That's what I see.
Yeah. Meg, I said, Maggie Nice would probably get the one without the Part D because she has Epic.
She would get 96.56. Okay.
Well, let me throw this out. Do we want to make a decision tonight? Or do we have more questions that need to be answered? That we can get by, say, tomorrow, maybe sometime.
Unless I'm looking at the wrong plans, the gold value with Part D, the copays are higher. Did you already say that the copays are higher than what they're already getting, unless I'm looking at the wrong plans? Which is possible.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
don't understand a great deal of this, but
No, you're right. It's 20 and 40 versus 15 and 30 for primary care and specialists. So, yeah, I said in general, but no, you're right.
I guess just depending on what their needs are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as you go down the line, there's a difference in the entire plan.
Well, if you look at, for instance, inpatient hospital, yeah, there are some increases now that I take a closer look at it.
Yeah.
But, ambulatory, 150. I don't understand that. I'm looking at the one next to it. Oh, the one to the right of that, which has a lower premium, actually, the co-pays are more in line with what they currently have. I don't understand that.
Which one's this?
Well, it's the one that has no Part D, but they've got to have Part D.
Right.
But if you look at the one with no Part D, which makes no sense to me, the co-pays for like primary care, specialist, chiropractic visit are in line with what they currently have, but without Part D. But when they add Part D, some of those co-pays go up.
Well, I'm not sure how it's labeled on here, if it is, but I believe we would need to pay additional for Part D.
Wasn't it? I
That's
thought,
what we do right now, because right now our cost for Part D, which is just worked into the premium, is $52.10. The Plan F is $180.50. So for one of the members, we pay $180.50. For the other member, $232.60. Well, that would be the new rates, but they were just a little bit lower.
That Plan F, I have that Plan F, and I don't pay any copay.
you want
Right,
Epic?
and that's the plan
You're
that,
not on Epic, are you?
No,
that's the plan that they would like,
right,
is the Plan
Yeah.
F.
right. I haven't paid a copay yet. I've had it a year.
That's sort of like mine. I've had to pay a copay.
I need to correct, when I was making cross comparisons, I was looking at the gold value with Part D from the current one
Mhm.
versus what they have the preferred gold.
Yeah.
So that was a mistake on my part. Like I said, it's difficult to kind of go back and forth here, but, I mean,
Yes.
there are some differences, but, I mean,
What do you want to do?
I still say if there's contempt with the way they're writing their policy, and we've only got a few days left. Today's the second. We've got,
Isn't it the 7th
7th is the,
Which is Sunday.
Sunday? So we've really only got 3 days left to do anything.
yeah, theoretically, why it should go to Monday, right?
Probably, but I'm sure that they still will need to fill out their paperwork.
Oh, I
and-
agree, yeah.
Yeah.
so what are you recommending, Dick, which plan are you recommending that we go with?
I'm going along with this United Healthcare.
That's F.
Right,
Mhm. Right, Megan?
right.
I'm thinking off the top of my head here.
Yeah,
Plan F.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep, look at this. You got right here. See, I think that's the same one that AARP uses.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that is a significant departure from where they were previously with the Advantage program. Recognizing that any programs that are offered in the future, you're going to have increased co-pays, increased maximum out of pocket. And I think that if we gave them, if we had an Advantage program previously, we ought to stick with an Advantage program. Recognizing there will be higher co-pays. I've given my opinion.
Yeah, I hear you. I just wish we had more information as to how we even got here to begin with.
Yeah, that's,
Because
that's,
the butt kicker is, they're supposed to be on a single family, or an individual plan. And somehow they got onto this thing. I mean, that's what the contract that they retired under says, and it's the same contract that we're using today, basically. I mean, for that element of it. Retirees get a single plan. It's just the percentage has changed now for the new contract. How in the heck we ever got here?
I have an answer for that one.
yeah.
I don't have an answer. I mean, if they were on a single plan, they would have been paying 10% of the premium.
Mm-hmm. Like Charlie said, maybe it was a better deal, but like I said, we
It
have
might have been a
nothing to
better
show
deal.
us how it happened and why they did it.
Well, the way it was done, whenever it was done, is really the way that I would think it should be done.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you become Medicare eligible, at least in my mind, it makes sense when you're a retiree to go on to Medicare and what other programs are available to either supplement or whether the right terminology is Medicare as health care.
Right.
Somewhere along the lines, they made that transition. Why? I don't know. But it looks like it's something they've been utilizing, they've had in the past. How long have they had an Advantage program? You know, here's the thing. I mean, they had this. They currently have this program, but did they have something different a year prior to that? I mean, again,
Well,
I don't know.
What, if they did, it was never brought to our attention.
I don't think the last couple of administrations had any idea what was going on with it.
No, I agree. I agree. Yep, that wasn't brought to our attention.
Not till somebody decided to cut the programs that
Right.
we figure out that there's
Yeah.
an issue here.
Exactly, yeah.
So you're saying, Dick, to go with the gold value?
Based upon what they currently have, that would be closer to what they currently have versus changing entirely and going with a Medigap. As I see it.
Okay.
But again, the
You're
idea is,
saying
the idea is to
plan
do the
F.
right thing via the contract that they retired under.
And they said which one they want?
They want an F.
Yeah.
Right,
Why wouldn't they? Pays everything.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's not what they've had last year. What brought them to the decision that they wanted F?
Probably Joyce.
I would imagine.
Well, I'll tell you what, when I met with Joyce, and I met with her a month or more ago, she was promoting F. If that's a direction that I wanted to go in, I chose not to go that direction. That was my decision. So I know pretty much about the benefits of F. There's pretty much zero out of pocket. Pays for everything.
That's what they say.
At a higher premium, obviously.
Yeah. That we're paying.
Pardon?
That we are paying.
That we are paying.
Apparently at 100%.
Yep. But you know, this isn't a personal decision, this is a decision of the board based upon what they currently have and what we're obligated to provide to them via contract. Therein lies the dilemma.
Well, we gotta make a decision on one or the other. I think we've heard both arguments. But we gotta be unanimous apparently, because there's only 3 of us here tonight. So no matter what happens, it's poop sandwich. Someone's gonna be loved and somebody's gonna be hated.
So if we offer them a plan from MVP or from the single plan that,
United Health. It'd be United Health or MVP. This is when I bring out the reindeer. Well, I would tend to agree that I'm willing to go along with either one, but, you know, if we're gonna stay consistent, then the MVP one's the way to go. This is what they're getting right now, right? Or we're getting. I guess they're still getting it right now, but
Yep, the second one over.
the
The
preferred
preferred
gold?
gold with or without Part D.
Okay. You'd have to go with gold value to. What would we be paying if they were on the single plan?
For Excellus,
Or whatever we got the rest of the CSEA on?
about 400, just under, 10% at 430, I think. Or 90, we
So we do save by having them on this.
Right.
What about 170 or something like that?
So get that 430 more.
About 430, yeah. But that's going up, but that went up another 16%,
Yeah.
2015, so.
I just don't understand why they're not on it though. This doesn't make any sense. If we're going to change anything, I would change it back to where they ought to be, not to something new.
Okay, so you're currently paying 159 and 122. A little over 280, and Plan F would be 412, so it'd be about another $132 a month. I guess, yeah, we're having a discussion now. Let's say that we approve Plan F for a year to give us time to sort this through, since we're not in a good position to do that tonight. Do we lock ourselves in if we select this plan this year of always following through on this plan? Or do we have the option to back off? Will there be any agreement to back off to a different plan, to change plans, I should say, in the future
I
based on
think-
what we find?
I think it's gonna depend on what we find.
Yeah, what if we don't find anything?
Then I think, well,
You know,
my personal opinion, unless somebody could show me otherwise, is we should be on the same plan that, or they should be on the same plan that the current retirees, the newest retirees are on.
understand.
That's where they should be.
Yep.
How we got there, I don't, this way, I don't know. I'm
Understand.
willing to go ahead and say, if you want it for a year, we'll give them what they want, but contingent upon. We can make that part of the motion if we want.
Right. In the interest of time, I'd be okay with that. And we want to do what's fair and just for them.
I think it's,
And just because we don't have all of our ducks in order for a number of reasons, we still got to do the right thing by them.
seems like we've opened up a can of worms.
Yeah. That's what I'm afraid of,
But,
What?
I mean, it actually could end up costing us more. And I'm not sure who's.
We're here making the decision,
Mhm.
but I would appreciate input from you two if you want to offer it.
Well, I was gonna say the exact same thing as Pete. I didn't really wanna bring it up about what you're paying for a single plan. If it's less than that,
You're still
those
ahead of it.
benefits, they're happy, life goes on. I mean, because you could beat this till death
Right.
but they have a legitimate gripe if you drop them down, I think.
Mhm.
Because then they could say, well, put us on to the single plan.
I mean, we can't show them right now
Right.
anything other than the original contract, what they should be on. We have nothing that anybody can find that says, oh yeah, they did this back in October of Humpty Frat's year and changed them over to this other plan, everybody's agreeable to it.
But we can rightfully so ask them to pay 10% of it. Because that's the
Technically,
original.
yeah.
Right.
According to the, according to the contract, they're supposed to pay, we pay 90%, they pay 10.
How does that work out? I don't have the numbers, but how does that work out with 10%?
That'd be like $41 a month.
So how
Take it down to
close is that?
390.
So that gets it.
What's the F? The F is what you're, the F is what you're suggesting is comparable right now? That's how much?
No, the F is,
Comparable to a single policy. That
The F's
via
a good deal.
contract is specified, that's what they have made, would have available to them in retirement.
The one that's most comparable to what they have right now is what?
Oh, that was the
gold value.
gold
Yeah.
value.
Right. How much do you got a month?
That is actually less than what they're currently paying. That's $136.50 with Part D,
What we're paying.
and without Part D, it's $99.60.
So if I understood the math right, then the village's 90% is around $390 a month, versus keeping them on something that's similar to what they already have is a couple $100 a month. Is that correct? 240, probably.
Yeah, around.
If you go with the F, it's actually a little bit better than,
So keeping them on what they're at is still $100+ dollars, $150 or more dollars less per month than putting them on what the current contract has of paying. of-
well, there are three
So you
issues.
got another step there, Charlie.
Yeah.
Got the advantage that they want to
Mhm.
Or, I'm sorry, not the advantage, the F.
Yeah, F, yeah.
I guess
It's really about 280 versus 235.
And which one's the 280?
280 is what they're currently on. 235 is if you stay with Advantage and you're adding the two together, so that would be a cost savings to the village of $45 per month.
And
then
I gave you the current premiums, not the New Year premiums.
And then the third option is they go on Excelis on a single plan, and the village's cost is about $390.
thereabouts, yeah, I would think.
Whatever that premium is minus
So that
10%.
So if they're not wanting that, and they're not on that, that would seem like that was something we definitely want to avoid, if they're content. to
Well,
letting-
yeah, we understand that. It's
Yeah,
just that
yeah.
Right.
So
We're-
anything less than that,
it's to our advantage to go with what they want, really,
exactly,
rather than what the contract says.
correct. So that definitely seems the direction of travel.
But I think, like Dick's bringing up, we need to know how we got here.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. right
For
there.
both Dicks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
we need
let
to know
us
how
know
we
what
got
we-
here.
Well, you know,
Because it isn't according to the contract.
like I suggested, it probably at the time was a well-intended process on both parties that everybody saved money.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And they went with it, and,
And that's fine.
yeah.
I don't have any problem with that. I'd just like to know when it happened.
Yeah.
And was it done above board or below? I mean, even the union doesn't know, but that's been a
Yeah.
while. They've had some changes.
Well, that's another one of those things that was gonna get written down probably, like, I could go through it. It never got written down, through sitting in this room.
yeah. Okay, where are we going with it?
Well, I'll go ahead and make a motion that we go ahead and approve Plan F as it's been recommended for the next year only, to give us time to go ahead and review the background on how this particular benefit came to be. And then we would review it at the next year
Appropriate time.
to determine whether or not, we continue on as is, or if we change it back to the way the contract says. And I'll be contingent on whatever it is we find or don't find.
Right.
How's that sound, Dick?
I'll second that.
Okay. Got a motion and a second? Discussion. I think we've had that.
I think we've had it. I think we've had
Well, we worked it out anyway.
it. Yeah.
Okay, trustee Whitenack.
Aye.
Yeah, trustee Labar.
Aye.
Mayor's and I. Passes 3-0. Now, bills. Would you like to explain each one of those you were asked to look up?
Yes.
Understanding, I think they're all prepaid, so they've actually been paid. So there's
Yeah,
probably,
some of them were prepaid.
okay.
I was asked to hold off on paying specific voucher numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the numbers that I researched that I'll talk about tonight. There's 5 of them. The first 3 vouchers were for an Excelis payment, $13.47, voucher $13.47 from the general fund, $5.37 from the water fund, and $4.36 from the sewer fund. I believe that the concern with that is that there is not something explaining how I came to my numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So I put in everybody's folders the spreadsheet that I used
Okay.
to come up with those numbers. And that has, all of the splits, the employee names, how we split up the amounts on there.
Okay.
The next one was voucher $13.46 from the general fund for McCarthy Tire. I believe there may be another error that goes along with that, so I need to research that more and I'll let you guys know on Wednesday. Voucher 446 from the sewer fund, Benefactor Funding Corporation. There was an error. We shorted them a few dollars $6, $5. So leave the voucher at, we'll approve it as is, and we'll make that up to them next month because it was at an error on both ends.
Okay.
They billed us for the wrong amount as well as us paying the wrong amount.
They actually typed the wrong amount on the statement.
Mm-hmm.
The invoice was correct, but the amount that they charged us was wrong, and nobody caught it.
Okay.
So I think that was it for the voucher numbers that we held out. Just a couple of things that I could recall, questions that were asked. Pat had mentioned that the Halloween parade was coded incorrectly. We code the donuts and cider and, cups and plates that we do to account code A7310.430. That is what we did. So if that's the gist, it's correct. I'm not sure, maybe she'll listen to the recording, I'm not sure if there's something more that she's trying to ask with that. But that bill was coded correctly. Let's see. There was something on a NYSEG bill that Pat had asked about, but I can talk with her in private about that. At the November regular meeting, Pat had mentioned that the village had paid an invoice for the town of North Dansville. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands that is not true. We did not pay an invoice for the town of North Dansville. I included copies in your folders of the exact documentation that was provided to all of you while reviewing the bills, what's included with the voucher. If you take a look at that, there's a copy of the ad that was attached to all of the documentation that you received. And the notice is the Town of North Dansville / Village of Dansville Zoning Board of Appeals has scheduled a public hearing for the application of Taco Bell at 135 Franklin Street, Dansville, to be held, and so on. That was our bill.
Well, what they're saying is she misread the title on the letterhead by the sounds of it,
I believe so, and then just didn't.
because it is a joint planning board.
Right. And
But
then
it was
just didn't
a-
review the rest of
But
the
it was a village
information.
issue.
And that's it.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that one.
And then just with the NYSEG bill, if that's confusing to anyone, I include a spreadsheet every month. If that's confusing, please come into the office and I'll sit down with you and review it.
Okay, so which ones do you want us to approve then this evening?
So I would approve the Excelis,
Mm-hmm.
which was a prepay,
Mhm.
voucher 1347, 537, and 436.
Okay.
Let me give you the amounts. Okay, so voucher 1347 in the amount of $11,087.38. Voucher 537, $3,814.97. And then voucher 436, $1,688.69.
Okay.
And then if we could approve Benefactor Funding Corp. voucher 446 in the amount of $1,135.
Okay. That's what, 3? Well, actually 5.
Oh, is that right? We're gonna wait on the McCarthy.
Mm-hmm. And the other one was correct,
Yeah.
or other couple were correct.
Yeah, there were no changes to the numbers.
Okay. Okay, I would make a motion to approve those vouchers. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second from trustee Labar. Discussion? Trustee Whitenack,
Aye.
trustee Labar,
Aye.
and the mayor is an aye. I think that concludes our business for this evening. Is there anything that our department heads want to just inform the board about while we're here?
Well, one I wish we could make a decision on is the gate at the plant is a topic of discussion. I know you guys aren't aware of that.
Gate at what plant?
The wastewater treatment plant,
We'll wait and do that at the,
yeah, we'll hang it out
Regular
there, you guys can absorb it, I guess. But let me have that bag, it's got a sheet in the bottom, it's mine, and you don't really care about. Oh, it's got all Rusty's pay-apps and everything. They gave you a copy of it. There's 3 gates at the plant. Well, actually, there's 4. There's an extra man gate that they forgot into the effluent. The structure's not there. It's basically a pad of concrete, but it's got a fence around it. That's where the pipe goes into the creek. That's where they get their samples.
Yeah.
And all they had was 2 big leaf gates on it. So, and I don't know why there wasn't a man gate put on it, but we put a man gate. Those guys have to go in there every day and to, handle those big swing gates would be tough. So if you see that on the front page, that's at $475. The next one up, it says convert gate from 24/6 to 28. That's just the way it worked out with the pavement. I think in the original quote, it was supposed to be a 24/6. But Rusty paved that area. So instead of busting up the pavement, and they increased it to the 28 foot. So that was $600 to do that. And that is a slide gate already. That was changed way back. The question is, there's 2 other gates. One that'll go across to the septic receiving station. That's like right behind the brick building, the old control building. Whether we have a big leaf gate or a slider. I'd like to make the change to the slider to there, and then on the other side of the control building, there's a slider gate. Because the intent is hopefully we're going to put the water distribution down there instead of at the Mill Street. And with the composting and everything that's there, it would be nice down the road if we could, the main gate, there's the next page back, we'll talk about in a minute, about putting an operator on that gate so that the guys can maintain that gate and keep it shut. The other 2 gates, if we put sliders in now, we can always add an operator if we choose to down the road. There's going to be a lot of traffic down there, and I think that we're going to want to, somewhat maintain some security.
Some control.
Especially with, you got that big composting facility, and to have them drive right through, to have it open, drive through the gate, they can take a left, go into the buildings, and I just think it will be a good security issue for down the road. Now, we do have about $10,000 left with Rusty. Some back and forth horse trading, this and that that's happened down there. So, we could, if you go back to if you add these 2 together, it's about $14,000, 14.6. Or 13.6. What is the total? Rusty come up with 14,640. That'll be right if you add those together.
13,665.
No, he's got, must be some other item in here.
That's on that extra page you didn't give us.
Yep. Because I didn't make a copy, because it didn't come in on an email, this was handed to me. But anyhow, it's $14,640, and that's because there's $683, 5% overhead and profit for the contractor, that you guys don't see right there, plus some other little charges. But I will let you see that sheet that you guys can That's the sheet that had all the numbers that I didn't, that's all. I've been getting this piecemeal, and some of it was in the email and some wasn't, so I had to round it up today, but, so basically, we would be paying, out of pocket, maybe another $4,000. I mean, any portion of that can go into the project. I don't know what else we'll have to do with Rusty to use any more, of his contingency money, if you will. That's money that'll be owed us. I mean, if we don't do the gates, then we'll get the money back from Rusty. So we could do any of it, part of it,
None of it.
none of it. Well, the one little gate we should do,
Yeah.
the $475 gate.
Give it some thought.
Just a question, Scott. When you come up with these, when you present these proposals to us, how's the process, how does it occur that there's an acknowledgement that there's these needs down there?
Well, as we were going through.
Is that just like via conversation and kind of looking at things over?
Yeah, it's like anything else, you
Yeah.
look at a print all day long, and you just don't pick these things out, and all of a sudden, like, say there's not a gate here. There's another issue where the guys walk from the new control building over to get the samples. It's grass, right now it's mud. They didn't put a sidewalk in there for the guys. Why? I don't know. They put a man gate there, what they're walking through right now is slop, and down the road it'll be grass. Well, what's gonna happen, there'll be a little goat path there. So those are things that just, it's like the retaining wall popped up, nobody saw that coming.
Right.
I guess it's a chance now to make an improvement to it that'll, I think, will benefit down the road. But again, it's up to you guys. Once you put leaf gates on, you're done.
Yeah.
These are a nice slide gate. A whole lot easier to operate, that's for sure. And there's you're in and out of there a lot, no doubt about it.
Anything else?
Just one quick question. How confident are you that we would be getting the $10,000?
Very confident,
Okay.
100% confident on that.
Okay.
I mean, it's, like I said, I don't know what else Rusty would have to do. He doesn't have a whole lot left. I'm not saying something couldn't pop up,
Yeah.
but
When would we put these gates in?
well, that's why we needed a decision as soon as we can, because we're holding up the gate guys.
Right.
They're either going to bring a leaf gate or slider, one or
Right.
the other. So they're kind of.
I would say we could vote early if necessary next week, but that won't.
Yeah, I would let
will
them
not
add
have
at least.
had a
Yeah, I
chance, but we
agree.
could do it the week after.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we could maybe do it at the committee meeting, that would be a benefit.
Yeah.
Gonna have to brief her on it,
Yeah, I can do that.
since she didn't show.
It's too bad I didn't have to do the last board
Oh,
meeting.
that's right.
I got it a couple days after, but that's the way it goes. The other issue, and I'd like to, you don't have to have a decision tonight either, but it's for, I just copied the email that was sent to me from Paul Brinois. I talked to Paul, and you guys can just read it over at your leaders know. But it would be nice, I think, to do that.
I have my desk back up with paper, huh?
Yeah, well, it's pretty much just a conversation with Paul. He said he would still do it for said he would do it for what, $80 an hour, I think
Yeah.
it was?
Yeah.
Not to exceed
Not to exceed
1,200.
12, and that's what he told us
Yeah.
a couple of years ago, or however long that was. So you can think about that one and. Will Pat get this? Will she stop in and get this?
Probably. I'll put it in her mailbox. If not, I'll.
Megan have a copy
put it
of
in her
this?
folder on
Yes.
Wednesday.
Give that to Karen tomorrow, give her something to do. I'm only joking,
I know.
I'm just a,
Well, we could give it to Karen, we could give it to Karen, because most of that information we're gonna want anyways.
Mhm.
Better had time
Mhm.
to get it,
Right, yep.
even if we don't go with Paul. Good numbers to have.
So he's gonna take a look at all of our revenue and expenses with the composting and wastewater treatment plant factored in. Let us know where we come out.
Hopefully the rate we put out there is cover us.
Yeah,
That would be nice. Not to
Yeah.
increase anything.
yeah.
Are we in a good position right now to go through that process?
With Paul?
Yeah.
I would think so. I would have to ask Karen. I don't see anything on there that she can't produce. Do you see anything, Megan, that's?
I mean, there's no reason to wait a few
No.
months down the road,
I would
or it
rather-
makes sense to do it now?
Yeah, because he was talking, what, I don't know if you put it on here or not, but he was talking maybe January
Yeah,
or so to present this.
Mhm.
We really need those numbers for the budget. Basically just
Right.
firm up what we have now. Just a fresh set of eyes and
yep.
If there is nothing else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. We're already here an hour longer than I wanted to.
So move. You say you entertain a motion, right?
Yes, I
You
will.
Make it.
Okay, I move we adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
Go ahead.
Second.
It is now 7:52 or 3. I think it's 3. Close. Close enough.